Look at that. I'm not prepared, Anil. I'm not prepared. Hello and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses for Monday night's live call-in show. Of course, it is myself and Anil here for this one. Anil, mate, how are you doing, pal?
You don't have to wear the blue tinted glasses. RUUD Van Nistelrooy is in town and he's here to keep us up in the Premier League. It's going to happen. Just had a fantastic performance against Brentford. What could go wrong?
Blimey, yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, if you are new around here on the live call-in show, this is how it all works. As you can see on your screen, there is a slot there for anybody and anybody to call in. Everybody can call in, come and have their say on anything Leicester City related. I imagine a lot of it will be about the new man, RUUD Van Nistelrooy. If you are just watching in the chat, feel free to get your comments in. That would be much appreciated. Anyone who's calling in, you're going to have to be patient tonight because it is busy already, and it will be like last week, quick fire. The busier it is, the more quick fire we've got to go. So, without further ado, Anil, oh, look at that. Look on screen, mate. We've got a caller. We've got a caller calling in. Now, we've got to give it to this guy because he's been here for 2 hours. 2 hours he's been waiting, and he's not lying because I clicked in about an hour and a half ago when I saw him. So, Chips is in first. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm good. How are you? Happy that thing's out of our fucking club.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. What did you fancy talking about tonight?
Well, last time I was a bit slow, so I wrote something down, but it won't take me long. I can get it out.
Go for it, mate.
So, is it okay if I just say my points? Then I ask you the question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
mate.
So basically, obviously we've all seen the knobhead Fass, but I feel like last year he wasn't like that, and I would assume that's because Enzo. Well, he wasn't as extreme, and I would assume that's because of Enzo being a bit stricter, more stern, and obviously Fass's first time in the Prem, he had a couple shit moments, but like own goals or accidents, and then doing kick-ups in your box thinking you're Ronaldinho when you're actually just an egotistical plank with a shit haircut is different. So, yeah, it seems like he made mistakes before, but now he's just being a knobhead. Anyway, I'm hoping that's because Cooper just doesn't know how to run a team. I mean, he banished Vestergaard. Maybe Fass is a bit comfortable thinking, I'm getting over Cody all day. He's old, he's slow as shit. I'm getting in for free. So he's become lazy. He's doing all this stupid stuff. Then you see the Chelsea game, 4 yellow cards. I mean, if you're a manager and it looks like your team's playing Sunday League football, I mean, that's just said enough itself. So do you think that do you think the reason we're so individually poor is because of Cooper, or the step up from the Prem has been too much for the team we have? But obviously, I feel like our new signings haven't been in the Prem, and then the rest of them are just people we've held on to for ages. So can Van Nistelrooy change that, or do you think we're actually just shit?
I'm going to start this one off, Anil, just on the Fass point. I think Fass was as arrogant last season at times, I suppose. I mean, I always talk about, I think it was the West Brom game, I believe. It might have been a different one where the fans were groaning, obviously, towards the end of the season, that second half of the season, fans were groaning because we weren't getting the ball forward quick enough. And I think Fass just hit one into the box, and it resulted in a goal eventually. And when the players were celebrating, he was cupping his ears at the fans, which I was like, you're a knob. And then this season, I mean, yeah, he's the Yuri Tillemans used to do it a lot, always waving his arms, blaming everyone else but himself. And he was equally as lazy sometimes. So, yeah, I think the Cooper situation, clearly he's not really a tough guy. He's kind of a nice cop rather than a bad cop. I think that has made things maybe a little bit worse. But I'll hand over to Anil to talk about maybe the step up to the Premier League.
It's an interesting one because he was pretty poor the last time that we were here, although he didn't have like a settling down period, did he? It's funny, like he started off okay, actually. We kept getting all these clean sheets. And then it was that Liverpool game that just sort of ended him. And after that, he went on a really bad run. But yeah, I think he's got an overinflated ego, that's for sure. But as per your point, Chips, is it due to the manager? I think it could well be because, I mean, when you've got a situation where the players are literally telling the manager what system to use, you probably are going to think, hey, he's crap, and you got to take it upon yourself, and who is the leader, and there isn't really one. So hopefully RUUD can sort that out. But I think it could be quite difficult with some of these players, because maybe now that they've had a taste of it, you know, what if RUUD comes and he says, "Wow, you're not playing. You've been appalling in the last couple of games," and he's going to, you know, throw his toys out the pram. So yeah, I'm curious as to what you think, but I think, you know, it could be a bit of trouble, and I'll be interested. I've got a feeling he probably will start fast against West Ham, but I wonder how long he'll keep him in the team for.
One question for you, Chips, before I let you go. Who should be the two? Let's say we're starting with two centre backs. Who should they be?
Vestergaard and Okoli. Fass doesn't deserve to start ever again. Send him back to Belgium. And Cody, also send him back to somewhere in Liverpool. Don't want him in our club. He's a knobhead.
Cheers, Chips, mate. Thanks for calling in, pal. Hopefully we'll see you next Monday, mate. All right. Thanks for waiting so long as well. Well done. Cheers, mate. Thanks to Chips. I agree with a lot of the stuff he said. I mean, Anil, everyone who watches this channel often knows how much I despise Wout Faze. So it looks like I'm not the only one. Right. Up next, do you know, because Anil, you were here before me, do you know who popped in next after Chips, mate?
I don't know. I think we might need the squad here to help us out. I think it might have been Clibbo. It was either uncle or nephews. There's a bit of a...
Yeah, well, last week it was, I believe it was Clibbo who was here first. So we'll get Reese on this time first. So here he Nephew Reese, you're on mute, mate.
Oh, God. Hi, boys. You all right?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
All right, not bad. Just chilling out, ready for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, what are you thinking, mate? What do you want to talk about tonight?
So you've got, obviously, I've listened to the press conference, and by the sounds of it, it's going to be, and I was talking to Clibbo about it earlier, Uncle Clibbo, I'm going to call him now. Basically, like, I think it looks like it's going to be a 4-4-2 structure-wise. So I don't... Clibbo's tried telling me how we think it'll look, but how do you guys think it'll look? Because I can't see it just being a flat 4-4-2. Or do you think it could be interchangeable? What do you lads think?
Go on, Anil.
Well, he did actually say that is 4-4-2 out of possession, which, to be honest, we're doing anyway. But he called it a 3-box-3 when we're in possession. So if you look at how he played at PSV, it was like 3-1-3-3 or 4-3-3, depending on how you want to call it. But what I would expect is very Dutch style, is they play loads of passing triangles. So it's everything about three. There should always be two people on either side, which should help you get out of trouble. So that's what I'm expecting. But you never know. Like, I think it's very interesting. I listened to that press conference as well. Firstly, can I just say it was great actually hearing someone that actually kept your attention for once and sounded positive. You could see already that it just sounds like he knows so much more than Cooper. But he was saying how actually he's already spent 2 training sessions talking about the defense, which I actually think is a good thing because it's necessary. Like, we're literally making the same mistakes over and over and over. We might still get caught out. We might still lose the game, but let's try and work on that, if you ask me. So let's see if he does that. But I'm expecting it to be like that. Do you think he'll attack, though, or do you think he'll be a bit more pragmatic in his first game, Reese? That's my question for you.
I think first game a bit more pragmatic, because that defense it's dog shit. Let's just get it right. It's absolute rubbish. So, and I think the Brentford game, the one thing I will say, the only positive I took from the Brentford game was that he is seen as our absolute worst. He's seen as our absolute worst, and he knows exactly what to do now, because, you know, you don't want to be going in and we batter them 2 or 3-0 and then it papers over the cracks. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. So, but I think first game, a bit pragmatic, and I think as time goes on, he'll introduce a bit more tactical attacking wise. But I can see him trying to play out from the back, and I hope to God he drops Wout fast, because I think with how he wants to play, I think Yannick Vestergaard is going to be so key to how he plays in terms of his passing ability.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if there's a caller tonight who disagrees with Wout Faze being dropped, but I am thinking what Anil's saying is probably more likely that he will play fast. It just seemed like that's going to happen, but who knows? We could be wrong. Reese, mate, thanks for clicking in, pal. Giving your thoughts as always, much appreciated. Hopefully we'll see you next week, mate. Thank you so much. Enjoy the game tomorrow, mate. Sound, pal. Just to let everyone know as well, because I've seen a few comments. Yes, of course, it's the FA Cup draw. Somebody asked, are we covering it? Well, no, not really. But when people find out who it is, let us know in the chat, please. Unless Anil's got it on, I don't know. But if he hasn't, then please let us know in the chat when Leicester gets pulled. I believe we're number 19 tonight, Anil. Number 19 on the balls. So there we go. Right. Up next, it is going to be Clibbo. Let's just see a couple comments up on screen. Good afternoon from the States. Dear God, let Tuesday be better than this past Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. And Fossub says, FA Cup draw coming on. He'll let us know when it's been drawn. Right, up next, it is Reese's uncle, who threw him under the bus a little bit last week. Here is Clibbo, mate. How you doing?
I'm about to do the same. Me and Reese spoke before this aired, and I said, "Don't nick my question," and he did. Top. Right, but I have sort of a backup. Given that he will start with the kind of loose 4-4-2. Do you think that Hamza Chowdhury will play on the right hand side with JJ potentially going over to the left? And do you think that Vardy will get a bit more support with that system?
Well, I was on, I think it was Luke's show a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, Anil. I think you were there as well. And I said I wouldn't mind seeing Hamza Chowdhury get a chance. Why not? How worse could it get? What we've seen from JJ? So I'm here for it, mate. I'm here for giving Hamza a chance. What about you, Anil?
I think we'll have to in the next couple of weeks just because the games are coming so thick and fast. I think there's 8 games this month, starting with tomorrow. So that's crazy. So I think he'll have to play at some point. Whether or not he plays tomorrow or not, I don't know. I mean, he did try it last season, so why not?
It'd be a good chance for the boy to actually cement. Sorry, Anil. It would be a good chance for him to cement a position in the team. Because although he's not the most technically gifted, getting stuck into players and making them realise they're in a game is something we are desperately in need of.
I definitely agree with that. I do, though, still have the fear that, like, if he's playing that inverted role, which is why I'm guessing you're suggesting he goes into the team, that will he get into trouble trying to play it out or with his positioning? But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's unfair for me to judge him. We haven't seen him play this season. So he's worth a try, isn't he, at some point? And what I'm saying is he can't play all the games, right? So someone's going to come in there.
Yeah. I also think that anyone that is not prepared to track back, which is why Samari may struggle under RUUD's system. Anyone who fails to track back under him, I don't think will go too well. And Samari is good going forward, but tracking back is a little bit lacking.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. I do agree with what Anil said, though, about playing out. He might play us into a bit of trouble. I think even last season in the Championship, he did struggle sometimes. The most unforgettable moment, though, for Hamza last year was that West Brom game, the same one where he made like 5 goal line clearances or something ridiculous like that. Yeah. And we all know he will get stuck in. I mean, Chip says here, at least Hamza puts the work in. He plays for the badge. I would, though, say to that, Luke Thomas puts a shift in for the badge. He's
not in the same way. I don't think. I mean, Luke Thomas, for me, suffered greatly under not getting loaned out and was put in situations that were too much for him at the time. And I think that's really knackered his development. The boy looks too lightweight, and he needed to go out and get beat up in the Championship, and it never happened for him. And I feel sorry for him in that respect.
Yeah, Reece says he didn't nick your question, you cheeky sod.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I'm going to batter him when I see him.
Call child like, oh, you're not a child anymore, Reece, are you? But yeah. All right, mate. Clibbo, thanks for clicking in, mate. Much appreciated. We'll see you next week. All right.
Cheers,
mate. Thank you very much. Thomas loses 50-50s. He doesn't play for the badge. Hamza does the dirty work. Thomas tries, but not like Hamza. Yeah, of course. They're different players. Of course they are. Right. Up next, mate, is Barry. I got a lovely message off a friend of the channel, Ash, who was on Fox's Den a couple of times back at the start of the channel, early days. And Ash told me that Barry wanted to come on and have his say on all things Leicester. So I sent him the link, and here he is. Barry, how you doing, mate?
Hi all, we're good.
All good, mate. All good. What's going on?
Nothing much. Thanks for having me on your channel. Yeah, I used to work with Ash, good 10 years or so ago for a couple of years. I don't actually know if he's still in a band or not, but I went to see him a few times and got a lot of
nice.
respect for the lad.
Oh, we didn't know he was in a band, so thanks for that bit of
Kept that
info.
quiet. Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
I might have to share a few things with you.
What do you fancy talking about tonight, mate?
Well, there's a few things you've kind of already touched on a few. I mean, as far as Luke was just saying, playing for us on Saturday, I think I'm with you. He's not developed into the player we thought he was going to be. But work ethic, I think he ran his socks off on Saturday. I think in my opinion, he put probably the most graft in the whole game. It wasn't great. I agree with you, but he did manage to put his shift in. But I think my question to both of you guys is, if we do have a budget in January, because it's only next month, where do you think we should strengthen us within our squad? I have my opinions, you say, but I'd like to hear yours too.
We'll give ours, then we'll come back to you to see if you agree or not. I mean, I'm torn between. It's going to have to be the defense. I'm thinking in my head, right wing. We need another right winger because of Fatawi's injury out for the season. It's a massive loss. Obviously, we've got Decordova-Reid, Ayew, McAteer. I mean, are they really good enough to be playing week in, week out for us? I'm not sure. I don't think that's going to keep us up. I think we need another option. The defense is, I mean, you have to improve it. It's going to be interesting to see what we do genuinely have to spend. Obviously, RUUD in his press conference today was quite quiet on it. He made a couple comments, but he didn't say that he was expecting much or if he wasn't expecting much. But I think the right wing and probably a right wing, right back and centre back, I would say. But yeah, what do you reckon, Anil?
Yeah, I think I would go with a lot of those shouts. I think, you have to start the defense because it's just been so poor. And we keep saying that right back has been the issue all season long. And Justin can't play all the games anyway. So I think you do need one, but I think you need a player that can do what Ricardo does and also play in midfield. And I think we should have got that player in the summer anyway, even if Ricardo was first choice, because you need like a rotation option. So someone who's young, who can maybe still step in immediately, but, can kind of rotate. So someone like that, who that would be, the big brains can come up with that. I don't know. So get Ric Flair on with his tactical scouting now. Centre back, I would probably agree with, just because again the defenses look so poor. And I guess the right winger, just because Fatawu is back. I mean, maybe he can play the ball out from the back. If we're not going to, it depends if we're going to play high line or not. Though, imagine Harry Maguire and Yannick Vestergaard together. Good God, you won't not be able to shift up the pitch. And that's the thing, is sometimes that's the way that teams try to defend, is by playing that high line. Something to think about. But go on, Barry. I'm curious as to who you would say, because you know what, I'd honestly say you could argue that like every position other than Mads Hermansen needs another player. So it depends on what you think is the biggest issue.
I mean, full respect to Mads, first of all. I played in golf for 30 years and, he's got a potential to go a long, long way. I think he's a great keeper. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone came in January and tried to poach him from us. I mean, there was rumours that Maresca wanted him at Chelsea for a period of time. And I don't know if that is true or not. But I'm pretty much in line with you guys. I think, for me, I don't rate Vass, and I don't want to go into that. You've already spoken about it multiple times on the show so far. I think the second one for me, I know what you're saying about Vestergaard, but I'm not much of a fan. I think he's just too slow on the ball. Every time you're passing the ball, it just seems to stop it, kind of hop back with his foot over the ball, thinking, what am I going to do? And then he'll pass it sideways. I think, for me, if you think back, even when we had Wes, when we got him from Forest, I don't think Wes was the best defender for us. He got his body in the way of the ball, but could he kick a ball? In my opinion, he couldn't kick a ball whatsoever. But he'd proven to be, with the right chemistry and the right players around him, it was magnificent.
Yeah.
But I just really struggle if we get a new centre back and you put him against Yannick, because I don't think Cody's good enough for us. But if you put him against Yannick, I think I see it's a bigger problem. I think we need to invest in probably two positions back there. Justin is okay. I think if you just played him where he needs to stay, I think he'll do all right for the rest of the season. But I do think we need to strengthen up front as well. Don't get me wrong, Vardy's our hero, but
I've got a quick fire question for you, Barry. All I want is a yes or a no. And I asked this in a group chat the other day.
Yep.
Would you accept a £60 million offer for Mads Hermansen in January if we could reinvest it all back into the squad in January?
Yep, straight away. no hesitant. Even though I do rate him, I don't think he'll keep us up, and I do think if we need more than him to keep us up this season, and if we go down at the end of the season, clubs will come along for 20 or 30 million. And I think we'll have to say yes.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Barry, thank you so much for calling. I do appreciate it. I'll send you the link next week as well. So if you do have some time next Monday, mate, hopefully we'll get you in. All right.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, Barry. See you soon, mate. Thank you so much. Lovely stuff there from Barry. Thank you for clicking in. It's an interesting question, Anil. Maybe we'll ask another guest soon. Right, up next. By the way, guys, everybody who is waiting, I really do appreciate your patience. Obviously, as you can imagine, it's quite busy, so we've got to get in one by one. Next up is a special guest from Vegas. From Vegas, right? Everyone's wondering, who could that be? Well, it's none other than our good friend of the channel, Manny, all the way from Las Vegas, baby. How's it going, Manny?
Hello, boys. I'm currently in a lift, but I'm getting out, and we're in Vegas at the moment. Weather's good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game, to be honest.
You look very drunk, Manny.
What goes on in Vegas, mate? You know the rule. No, it's
Talk to me.
Well, I saw a bit of the Brentford game the other day, and I've seen the reaction from everybody, and obviously it's not been the kind of what we wanted. But RUUD hasn't taken a training session, so that doesn't count. The era starts tomorrow, so that's why I'm super excited, and hopefully we can kickstart the campaign with a good 3 points.
React to this, Manny. The cup draw's just been done, mate. QPR in the third round.
QPR are bottom of the championship, aren't they? So, look, if we manage to pick up a few wins and get clear of the relegation zone, then we'll all be excited about a cup run. But I'm one of those where I think later in the season, when the games really get crucial, the back end, you don't want to be distracted by a quarter final or a semi-final of an FA Cup.
Yeah, Manny, mate, I'll let you go so you can enjoy your holiday, mate. And we're losing connection a little bit because you're in the lift, mate. So thank you for clicking in. I think we've lost him anyway. Yeah, we've lost him. Thanks, Manny, mate. Much appreciated. Go and enjoy your holiday, mate. Have a beer for me. Right, up next, again, somebody else who's been waiting a long time. It is Alex, first-time caller, I believe. Alex, how you doing, mate?
Hi, nice to meet you guys. Great channel.
Cheers, mate.
Nice
to meet you.
I just want to talk about, well, I want a bit of a rant as well, but talk about a formation. I feel that we all agree that a defence is the weak point at the moment and it needs protection. So I feel like we need the two sitters in front of the back four. So this is the team I would go for. Hermanson speaks for itself. At right back, I've had enough adjusting. I know people keep saying the formation's not helping him. He's getting caught high up the pitch. But that first goal on Saturday, he was square on, the spacing behind, the chemistry between him and Fass. I've had enough of him. I think he's done since his injury. It's not his fault, but I just think he needs at least a period out of time out of the side. So I would go with Hamza Chowdhury. It's been mentioned before. I feel like we need energy in the team and commitment, and Hamza's that. And I just want a flat back four. I feel like it's too much to ask at the moment to do the double pivot, especially when we're missing Winks.
Okay.
So Hamza at right back. Fass, God, like everybody spoke about Fass. He just needs training, balls lumped into the air, and practice how to head the ball straight, because it comes off his 50p in all directions. He needs to do the basics. It's embarrassing as a professional footballer that the line at the defence, and he's miles up the pitch. It's shocking. Like, it's awful. So
who's your pairing? Who's your centre back pairing?
So I'm a pairing. So I feel the best chemistry between the two for me is Vestergaard and Okoli. So you've got the recovery pace with Okoli. Vestergaard, I really rate Vestergaard. I think he's great on the ball. I think he adds a bit of calmness to the back four. I like Vestergaard. And at left back, it's a tough call, Christensen or Thomas, but I'll go Thomas. I think he's underrated. I think people have been a bit harsh. I think that when he first broke through with Brendan, I know confidence does a lot of things, and we had a good team. But I've saw games where he defended like Mo Salah really well before. So I feel like he's underrated and he just needs a bit of confidence behind him. Then the double pivot, I've had enough of Ndidi. I think he's not good enough. He's not good enough on the ball for the double pivot. I just think the eye test means a lot to me. And, you can shout out about all stats and that. To the eye test, he's not good enough on the ball. He's lost the yard of pace. Not for me. Ideally, I want Skip Winks in there. Unfortunately, he might not be playing tomorrow. So I would have Skip for legs. We spent 20 million on him, 25 million. He needs to be in the team for me. He needs to get a run of games, see what he can do. Him, I want to build on Samari. I know people don't like him, but I want to build on him. I think there's something there. Yeah, I think there's something there. He's mobile enough, and he can carry the ball forward out of that double pivot. Then at the 10, I would have Bilal El Kanous. We've not saw much of him, but I like what we saw, and good energy like that. I'd have Mavadidi on the left, speaks for itself. On the right, I would have Facundo Buonate. I can't say the name very well. Buonate. I would have him on the right, just like Mahrez, how he played, cutting in with. He's got a wonderful left foot. I feel he's really dangerous cutting in from the right, and then Vardy up top speaks for itself.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Edouard after all that.
No, they're on about sending them back, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Freeze up a free loan.
And Neil, mate, what do you reckon? What do you reckon to Alex's team there? It's quite similar to what we've said. Obviously, we had Justin Christensen, but a lot of people are just going with the basic 4-2-3-1. Do you think that's what it will be?
I like that system. I agree. I think rather than overcomplicate it, we need to focus on basics, which is not conceding about 5,000 shots per game, and try and be a bit like, honestly, a few 0-0s is actually the way to build on the platform rather than trying to go the other way. So I agree with that. The only thing I don't like about your team, I got to be honest with you, Alex, is Luke Thomas at left back. but fair enough. But I mean, fair enough. I can see what you mean. It's not like Christiansen's been that great either. But we're literally playing Liverpool this month, and Luke Thomas against Mo Salah, the form that he's in,
he's on fire.
I don't know. That makes me very nervous. I don't know. Maybe you can help him out again. But to be honest, with this month coming up, I keep saying it, 8 games in the 30 days. Going to have to rotate all the players, so everyone's going to play a part. And Hamza at right back, I think we'll see it at some point. We'll have to. You can't play Justin in every game. Who else would you try there? I agree. He's played it sort of last season, and if we play the system you're talking about, he doesn't have to bomb on and make crosses. He can just basically worry about defending. And if you want someone who's going, the only thing I worry about is will he make a rash challenge in the box for a penalty? But we've been bad enough defensively anyway. Let's not judge him until he plays. So I would actually agree with the 4-2-3-1 and keeping it tight. I think RUUD will do something a bit similar, but I think he'll make it more of a 4-3-3 rather than. So I don't think you'll see Buonanotte be as wide. He'll be a bit more narrow, which will suit him, although that might cause us some problems defensively. But I think it's a good setup, good lineup.
Yeah, there we go. Solid, Alex, to be fair. I mean, look, people will disagree on Luke Thomas. I disagree with you. I just don't think he's good enough. But a very good point that Anil mentioned is, I mean, Christensen's hardly lit the league on fire, has he? So I suppose,
tough one.
Well, yeah, and then he will play at some point because of rotation. He's going to have to. Unless they choose to play, I don't know, Oliver Skip there instead. Oliver Skip.
Just have one thing on Hamza. I think we all would agree that Danny Simpson, before when we won the league, everybody thought it was bang average. Hamza's a similar ability to me to Danny Simpson, so I think he can do a job.
So that's an interesting take. I'd give it Simpson, but I get what you're saying. Before we won the league, before that season, when we signed Simpson, no one was like, "Oh my God, yes, we've got Danny Simpson." So I agree with you on that part. Alex, mate, thanks so much for clicking in. Hopefully you do next week as well, mate. Thanks for waiting so time.
Yeah, sure. Take care.
Yeah, see you, Alex.
Thank you so much. Thanks to Alex. Thanks to all the callers so far. We're not done yet. We've got some more who are waited. By the way, because there's quite a few still waited, this is your last chance to join and click the link. So there is the link. It is pinned as well, but click that link if you want to come and have your say and queue up. Up next, we have Costa, our good friend Costa, who's always hyped. I've never seen him so hyped when Steve Cooper's sacking was announced. Is he as hyped now? Let's have a look.
Merry Christmas month, everyone. How are you?
I've got a lot of feedback, Costa. Oh, that's better. That's all right now. I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Crack on because loads of people. After that awful, miserable game for so many reasons, RUUD is here. Yay. So he's got his job cut out, that's for sure. Anyway, it's Christmas month, so let's be positive. I'm excited for the new year. You too?
Absolutely.
Well, Anil isn't.
No, I am. I mean, we've got the new man. I mean, honestly, I don't know about you, but I thought we were not going to make the change till January, and we're going to be like bottom 3, and then everyone's like, "Well, what's the point? It's too late." So we've got a chance.
We can go on about those 2 weeks, but it is what it is now. He's got. It's going to be very difficult. Loads of games, really quickly. You know, it's going to be difficult for him. So I've watched the press conference like you, and it's quite clearly that he's got Enzo's number. So I'm hoping when the shit hits the fan, he gives him a call. You know, it's not stubborn. Enzo, what should I do? And he helps us. Yeah. So, and he compared our training ground to Real Madrid. Did you hear that? I mean, bloody hell. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it? I think RUUD has actually got a lot of, experience, actually, as a coach. And I've never watched so many PSV games in my life. I didn't even know their team before. But having watched it, he knows his stuff. Swaps it around, is not fixated on a philosophy, which I think is a good thing. I mean, everybody wants to play perfect football. And he said the words of, "We will do what we need to do to win." I mean, there's no stubbornness there. Rodgers in mind. I don't think Enzo was that stubborn, but it did look that way sometimes. That's about it, really. I mean, I ain't got that much more to say apart from it can only get better. I mean, after that game, whew, let's forget about it.
And Neil, what do you think, mate? To what Costa just said, it can only get better. Are you in agreement?
Well, I think we've literally seen the worst we've been in a long time. When was the last time we were as bad as where we were against Brentford? Maybe that Bournemouth game this season that we went down and we didn't even concede as many goals.
Wickham, Anil, Wickham. Do you remember Wickham? We lost that. Everything went tits up. That's the last time I think that.
That's a long one ago. But yeah, hopefully he can sort it out. That he proved that Man United already did need that. Like he said it in the press conference. I was there to steady the ship, and he did steady the ship. So
and he did, yeah.
Hopefully he can steady the HMS staying in the Premier League. That is Leicester City. But I believe we will.
Yeah,
I think so as well, Neil.
Yeah, absolutely. Costa, mate, thanks for clicking in. There is a bit of audio feedback as well, mate. Next time, try and get some headphones in. Try and get some headphones in next time.
For some reason, they won't connect when I'm on this platform.
Annoying. Well, we'll see, mate. Cheers, mate. Thanks for clicking in. Much appreciated. We'll see you next week, mate. Thank you. Again, just a reminder, we have QPR at home in the third round of the FA Cup. There we go. Right. Up next is Ragsy. Ragsy, mate, how you doing?
Evening, boys. Yeah, I'm all good. I'm chilled. And yeah, I've had my sort of, well, I was listening to the game whilst I was driving, which is quite frankly a health hazard. And I just do not recommend. And then I was that dumb. I watched the condensed highlights and stuff, and that even pissed me off even more. But we have RUUD in. Hopefully a new era. It can't get as bad as that. I mean, fucking hell. If it does, then Jesus Christ. But I was really taken aback by that squad. I was really expecting a reaction for the Brentford game, especially after what happened in Copenhagen. And I thought, hopefully these players, I thought they were all galvanised against Cooper. So then I thought, surely that's going to work in our favour. But, geez, that defence is shocking. And what I want to ask is, because I'm taken aback by the squad a bit, do we think that there's players there that are just simply not good enough in terms of technical ability? Or do you reckon that they are good enough, but their mentality is just shocking, or their confidence is on the floor? What do you think?
That one. Mate, we've seen average footballers compete in the Premier League off pure, I don't know, just pure motivation, pure passion. We've seen it before. And I think that these players are probably just about good enough to play in the Premier League, but their mentality, their attitude at times just stinks. Absolutely reeks, mate. That's what I think. What do you reckon, Anil?
To some extent, I definitely agree with that. But I do think that the Premier League's got a lot more brutal in the last few years. And there are some players that just aren't good enough. Like, it's funny we mentioned Danny Simpson, but Danny Simpson would not be a Premier League player these days. That there's a reason why we bought Ricardo and he got phased out. Like, you have to do more in the game than just do one job. So I think if you had to be objective rather than subjective and like look at the facts, like, you know, you could say Vestergaard's too slow. Therefore, he could probably only play in like a bottom 5 team. Maybe that's a bit harsh. I think Fass's concentration and inability to read the flight of the ball. Surely you think you could coach that, but I've seen it happen so many times now in both the Championship and the Premier League. It worries me that he's not good enough. I'm not sure Luke Thomas is good enough for the Premier League either with his physicality. And I think the problem is, if you've got a back 4 and that's 3 of your back 4, you could be in trouble. So like, I'm just calling it. Like, if you look at a lot of the other teams in the Premier League these days, they've had similar stories where certain players have got phased out and you've needed to have a different type of profile. Even look at Man City. I know that right now they're obviously in a terrible run of form, but something that Pep did over the last few years is he made them a lot more physical than they were previously and their results improved. So something to be said about that. Like, I think you can have some grafters, but I think it's a bit of a misnomer to say you can get away with just grafters, because I think some of the teams that went down last year had grafters like Luton and stuff like that. It didn't really work out so well for them. But look, we'll see.
Yeah,
Ragsy,
yeah.
I want to ask you the question I asked Barry, mate. I want to ask you the question I asked Barry. Would you sell Mads Hermansen for £60 million in January if it means RUUD can reinvest it in the squad?
No, absolutely not. We have all seen the impact of having a shit goalkeeper and having that sort of as a passing effect onto the team as to how they lose the confidence. So it doesn't even matter with new signings, because look at what we did with when we brought Suter in, when we brought Christensen in, when we brought Tete in. And we all thought that was all good, 3 positions, exactly what we needed. Everything, even profile of what we were looking for. And it all went to shit because we failed to see the setup that, they still had Danny Ward in goal. They still had a manager that was just incapable of getting anything else out of these players. So we could have 60 million to spend. But not only have we got to fill in the gaps for the rest of the team, which is a lot, by the way, considering that we looked at the depth in the summer and we had 2 players in every position. And now we're looking at we could be signing 3, 4, 5 players that we need. And the problem is that we're coming back to in terms of what Anil said with grafters and stuff. I really sort of I was assessing it in terms of the quality of the squad. And of course, there'll be more players in question that I think could be good enough. But in my eyes, I see 7 players good enough for Leicester City at this moment in time if we want to be a re-established team. I'll go for it. Hermansen, Ricardo, Mavididi, Fatawu, Buonanotte, El Canous, and Vardy. One of them ain't even our player for a start. One of them is on the verge of retirement. And one of them could even be poached. Hermansen could be poached off in January. So then what's left? After spending 110 million and, you got, I think it's a whole mix personally. I think there's, for some reason, I thought okay, finally 7 players off the wage bill, free agents. We just managed to get them gone. I'm kind of starting to question now. Have we actually just taken out the shit and filled it with even more shit? They could overread. Come on. Listen, the guy could barely walk after half an hour. Let alone do anything.
Does somebody want to tell Ragsy? Does somebody want to tell Ragsy it's December and we've just got a new manager through the door?
It don't feel like
it's like being with bloody British Luke. It's like being with a British Luke. What's going on, man? What's going on?
I want to be, and I'm happy he's it, but
what's wrong
I feel for him because he's got such a job on his hands, and I'm
what's wrong with Jakub Stolicic? Is he not good enough? Is he not good enough to step up over Hermansen, Jakub? Stolicic?
Right? Yeah, but he's injured. That's the thing.
Yeah, he's back in training. He's back in training.
Okay, all right.
Can he not replace Mads? Can he replace Mads?
But I don't know, because it's hard for goalies to go ahead and readapt. So it's just it's really, it's tough to sort of say, like, you want to throw him in at the deep end and think like he's good enough to keep us up, because he's barely had any Premier League experience whatsoever. So it's hard to sort of assume that. Look, I just think with RUUD, we have to persist with him, and he's spot on the right decision. I really hope, like, tomorrow is huge, and I really, really hope he can get his first win soon. Like, even if it's just, hopefully a positive performance, and then that can lead to something. I think it would just kind of like with last season with Enzo against Coventry, it just eased everything. It just calmed everyone down, and then we started to build and build and build. But it may take time, just because there's players that I just don't trust in this squad, like Fass. No,
mate, I don't want to talk about that guy anymore. Honestly, mate. Are you doing a watch along tomorrow on Foss Hub?
I might.
And if you are you going to wear the turtleneck?
The turtleneck. I need to check where the whereabouts of the turtleneck was.
Mate, I'm telling you now. Wear the turtleneck on the watch along tomorrow, mate.
Okay,
just do it.
All right, I'll get it out of the wash, even if it's damp or whatever. I'll get it.
Ragsy, mate. I'll see you on Wednesday for Fox's Den, mate. Thanks for clicking in as always. See you next week, mate. Or see you on Wednesday, mate. Cheers, pal. Oh, look, another incoming call. Who would have believed it? Nobody else clicking now. That's the cutoff. Bam. The window shut. Deadline day. Gone. We've got 4 more people, so we'll get through them. Starting with Hasselhat. He's been here the longest. And then it's Imran. Hasselhat, how you doing, mate?
Thanks for having me, if you can hear me.
Yeah, we've got you loud and clear, mate. Thanks for clicking in again. I think you were on either last week or the week before. What's going on, mate? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I didn't watch the Brentford game because I was driving, and I didn't want to, and I couldn't listen to it because my dad would have killed me. But when I saw the score at full time 4-1, I thought, oh, now. But then I saw the lineup and it was like 3 at the back. I thought, why is Cody playing and not Vestergaard? I think Fass he's had his moments. Most of them have been poor, but I think if we want to progress, we have to drop Fass and give Vestergaard a chance more, because he was hated before and now he's kind of loved, I think.
Yeah. Well, who is your partnership for tomorrow night? Obviously, Okoli looks like he's going to be fit. Vestergaard's available. Cody's available. Fass is available. Which 2 are you picking?
If Odogie's fit, it's Odogie and Vestergaard.
I wish we had a Dogie. Okoli, you mean?
Okoli, yeah. I can't speak. Somehow I passed English. Don't ask me.
That's all right, mate.
And left back, I do like Thomas.
Yeah.
Just because he's a youth academy. I do like Christensen because at least he showed. Well, I saw one clip of passion and I thought, yeah, he shows passion. But I want him, and if it's Justin has to start, then fair enough. But
well, it's tough, isn't it? Because of Ricardo injured again. Enlighten us, mate. Obviously, who is your 2? It's Vestergaard and Okoli, right?
Yeah, for sure. They're the 2 that I would go with. I think they're our best ones. But I think the worry is that like they can't play every 3 days either. So you need some more rotation options. That's why I think we've got to get another one in. And yeah, I mean, could you imagine if you ended up with Cody and Fass together just alone in a back 4 or something like that? Hopefully we never see that. But do you know what though? Honestly, you know that Wilfred Ndidi played some games at a centre back the last time we got relegated, or am I too desperate to suggest doing something like that?
When we beat Liverpool, remember when we beat Liverpool 1-0 over Christmas?
Yeah.
We had Amar. It was Ndidi, and I think Amar. Hold on. I can't remember his name, but he played with
Amarty.
Yeah, Amarty. And Luke Thomas played left back, and he had a good game against Salah. We don't know what could happen over Christmas.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I did see Jacob Horsfall, who's he does lots of content for all different football clubs, but he was talking about Luke Thomas, and someone replied and said, "Would you believe me if I told you that Luke Thomas once pocketed Mohamed Salah?" And he was like, "Not a chance." He was like, "No, it happened. It did happen. It did happen." I think the following game though, he absolutely got bullied by Nicolas Pepe. So there we go. Hasselhat, mate, thanks for clicking in, mate. Much appreciated. Hopefully, we'll get you in next week, and we'll get you in earlier next week, mate. So yeah. I'll do my best, mate.
See you.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate. See you soon. Thank you so much. Right, Imran's next, and then it's Kate, and then it's Ross. Imran, Kate, Ross. Imran, Kate, Ross. That's Ross earlier too. Sorry, Imran. Where's Imran? There he is. Imran, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Anil, are you ready for Imran to come and tell us how our squad is not Premier League quality like he does every week?
He's allowed to say it. He could be right.
No, I am right. I am right. Look, even this debate about Vestergaard coming back in. Trust me, after 3-4 games, the fans will be on his back because he's not good enough either. Trust me. In the Premier League, you need pace, and he's not got any of that. So yeah, he might have an odd game, might play well one game, but I'll tell you, after 3, 4, 5 games, he'll make 3-4 mistakes, and the fans will be on him because he's not good enough. Same with Fass. Okoli is our only one that we've got a little bit of hope on, and that's a good shout by Anil. I was going to suggest that as well. Ndidi, he's not playing as an attacking midfielder very well, so let's just stick him in defence, right, where he can use his long legs and his agility to stop the ball from going in. So that's a good shout actually. I like that, Ndidi in the back. But let's see what RUUD says or what he thinks tomorrow with the game against West Ham tomorrow.
Oh, Ndidi at centre back scares a living daylight.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
reckon if somebody's quick in the chat before we end the live stream, right, in the next 15 minutes or so, I predict that Ndidi has given away the most penalties in the Premier League for Leicester. Like, out of all the Leicester players, I reckon he's the one who's given out the most penalties. If anybody can find that stat, please do. I don't think he's good enough to play at centre back personally. And I remember back to the last game of the season when we played Spurs and we were playing for top 4. Wesley Fofana went off injured in the first half, and Ndidi played at centre back with Soyuncu, I believe. And it was
but that was Soyuncu. That was because he had Soyuncu with him, didn't he?
Soyuncu was amazing, mate. Soyuncu was the guy.
No, he was. He just didn't have a good game that game. I didn't go to that one because I'd gone to Wembley the week before when we'd won the FA Cup. So yeah. I just wanted to make a quick point. So do you know on Saturday, right? Like, as soon as I saw that team, right? As soon as I saw it, I thought, shit, we're in for it. I know we were going 5 at the back, right? But that scared me because you're already sending out signals that we're going to defend this and we can't defend. So that already scared me. Then I was shocked with the performance by Soumare and Ndidi, to be honest. Like, they're playing as defensive midfielders or protecting that midfield, but they were half the time they were past the halfway line. Maybe they thought that they're going to get coverage, with the 5 at the back or the 2 wing backs. But come on, guys. You got to know that defense. You got to take a bit of responsibility, and that's the problem with our team. There's no responsibility. We fortunately went 1-0 up, and I'm thinking at the time that right, we're lucky to go ahead here because Brentford were all over us. It's just a bit of tactical nous by all the players. Let's defend, but straight away there's big wide open gaps at the back, especially on the right, just inside, and they exploited us. And that's what shocked me. Like, we were 1-0 up. But there was no one in that team stood up. Like I said, we're lacking leaders as well to say, right, well, let's defend this, lads. Let's defend this. I was shocked with Cody as well. I'd expect him to be shouting at the players to get back and get in position. Cody didn't impress me either, mate. So I don't know. I'm just hoping now that RUUD comes in tomorrow. His press conference was brilliant today, by the way. He did state as well he might go 4-4-2. Did I hear him correctly there? Like, I'm sure he said
he's saying that out of possession 4-4-2, which we do.
Okay.
Well, most of the time we didn't do it against Brentford, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
we have to
say I do agree with you, Imran. That really frustrated me against Brentford. As soon as we scored that goal, Ben Dawson, he should have just said, "Park the bus, park the bus." We got them where we wanted.
At least for 10 minutes, at least for 10, 15 minutes, right? Like, let's just defend this lead. Again, right, I think I mentioned it. Okoli getting injured. He weren't on the pitch for the second goal because he got injured in the first goal. That didn't help. That kind of put them all in disarray. And that's how we kind of conceded the second goal because Okoli weren't on the pitch. And then we were at 6s and 7s for the third. So, yeah, it was a long day, mate. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
we're hoping better for tomorrow.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Anil, what did you mention? What Imran said there about the press conference. It was impressive. Did you agree? Do you agree with that?
He came across very well. He sounded like a proper actual manager. I'd say one thing that's really obvious as well, though, is that Top actually backs RUUD Van Nistelrooy, and you can tell he was probably like, "Who is this Cooper idiot?" So all these rumors coming out about like him not being too impressed, definitely you can.
Yeah, but also no. Did you pick up on this as well, guys? Right, that he said that at the Man United game, I had a half-an-hour chat with Enzo after the game, so that we'd obviously tapped him up then, right?
Maybe.
Do you know what's interesting is that was mentioned in Rudkin's article that he was still in contact with a former manager, and it's interesting that former manager was Maresca, because I think a lot of people assumed that he was left, feeling really salty, but maybe he probably was annoyed Maresca. But to be fair, that probably says that he's an ambitious guy, and he's like, I want that Chelsea job because with that squad, I can win the Premier League with them. I'm sure that's what he thought. And looking at them now, I mean, not this season. This season it's Liverpool, but next season they're saying Salah might go PSG or whatever like that. I can see him doing it.
Yeah, let's see.
But that is nice though that he would still keep in touch with Top, and that also though does make you think like it's just such another flaw again. Like we could have got Van Nistelrooy in the summer, by the way.
Yeah, and look, one more point, guys. Right, like I really want to. You need to discuss this point as well, right? Like, look, I went on an all-inclusive holiday to Turkey a few months back, right?
Sorry.
When I got back, right, I didn't want to go to work. I was like, you know what? I'm relaxed. First day at work, you're not really looking forward to it. And I honestly think the players are so used to Seagrave because it's an all-inclusive resort for them, right? It's like they can't be bothered, mate. Like they've got it all, haven't they? They've got a great training ground. They get a swimming pool, sauna, steam room, food cooked for them. They've got everything under the sun for them. And when it goes to putting a hard 90 minutes in, they just don't want to graft. That's what I think. And it's just a shame that the whole motivation, the whole fight, all it takes is one tackle to get the crowd going. Like if Cody went in 2-footed somewhere, won the ball, got the player, right? The whole crowd will go, berserk. And, I remember the olden days, our football, Steve Walsh would fly into a tackle and that's it. The South Stand, the Cop, we'd all be in, like loud voices and it just riles up the crowd. Don't see any of that in our squad. There's no fight, no leaders.
I agree with you. I agree with you entirely, and I certainly agree with you on Seagrave, mate. I certainly agree with you on Seagrave. I couldn't agree more, mate. Imran, thanks for clicking in, mate. Much appreciated. I'll see you for some lunch on Wednesday.
All right.
Mate.
Yeah, definitely. All right, take care.
You. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye. Okay, incoming call. It is Kate. Kate alert. Here she is. Kate, how's it going?
Hi. How you doing?
All good. All good.
Yeah.
All good.
How are we feeling after Saturday? More buoyed from today and Moo's conference that he's going to save us.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I'm not as excited as I thought I would be.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm not as excited as I thought I would be. I think it's Saturday that's made me think like, God, these players are actually worse than I thought. It wasn't Cooper. It wasn't Cooper. I don't know.
Yeah, he's ruined the personality of the team a bit, hasn't he? So Ruu's got quite a lot of work to do, and I think he's going to have to be that really annoying, twatty supply teacher that comes in initially when you've all been brats in your science class at school, and he's got to set some things straight and set some ground rules. And then all of a sudden, after a few months, this guy's like the best teacher you've ever had, and he's staying for good. And I think that's what needs to happen with RUUD a little bit, really. Interesting that him and Vardy had a bit of banter. We got the banter in first about breaking the record, which was funny to see. But it can't get any worse than Saturday tomorrow. So I think in terms of disorganisation, cohesion, effort, accountability, awareness, everything else, that cannot get any lower than the scores that were given on the board on Saturday. So tomorrow, West Ham are there for the taking, you could argue. I'm not sure that we'll do it, but I'd just be happy to, I don't know, what's his priority? Maybe keep a clean sheet, show some more organisation, show some fluidity in the middle of the park, to provide some service, because we don't even know how good our forwards can actually be together, because they're not getting any service, are they? And not being able to play and have a real life match experience in that part of the pitch on a regular basis. So we'll see.
Can I ask you something, Kate? Because you were probably at the King Power for the Everton game. And in that game, I think a lot of the fans were like, oh, God, like it was a good chance to go at that team and we didn't. But given the form that we're in tomorrow, if we had a result and arguably even a performance similar to that, would you take it, or do you want to see a bit more? Because I saw that West Ham and Everton actually drew recently, I think, 0-0 in what was like a I get the only thing you could say about the game is that it existed. It was one of those. So I just wonder if you would take one of those, or you want to see a bit more from the team, given that it's RUUD's debut.
In the form that we're currently in, if we get more than 0 points tomorrow, it's got to be seen as a positive, because we're in a real mire at the minute. I'm not going to be dramatic and say like it's the worst football I've ever seen or anything like that. But the terms of how high we were on the promotion wave in May compared to now, and the feeling amongst the players, it's 100-0, isn't it? And that's what RUUD needs to churn and regurgitate, really, and try and get that back amongst the team. So if we can get a point tomorrow and play with apathy, I think is the word that I would use, and manage to get a point, I think that would be okay. And then it's not 0, it's not bleeding 3 or 4 goals. You just want to see some type of progress. It'll be interesting to see what he does at the back, because I think the back is his biggest conundrum, to be honest.
And Neil was talking at the start of the show to Reese. They were saying about, do we think we'll be quite reserved tomorrow night, or do you think we might go for it? Do you think we might play some attacking football? What do you think? Because I think the worst thing that could happen is we concede early on, maybe off the back of, I don't know, a counter attack on transition or something like that. I think that would be the worst way to start. Do you think we will start it'll be quite cagey?
I think the last 5 or so games, we've started really strong. And like you hear Owen's commentary sometimes, the first 10 minutes, he's like, oh, we started well. We've started with a high pace. We've started with a high press. So I can't see that changing tomorrow. What might be on RUUD's agenda is that he's not really got any time to sort the defence out tomorrow. So he may just say, I'll play more attacking football to try and just flood the box a bit more. Because the age-old thing of you can't concede if you're in possession and the ball's at your end of the pitch or the opposition's end of the pitch. You can't concede. So it might be a case of trying something like that, because our forward play is okay. We've scored in all but 1. That's not going to be the problem for him, because our conversion rate is excellent. So it's just what he does with that absolute shambles at the back is an issue.
Yeah. It is. And you said the other day, West Ham, they've got a good team. And I'm glad we're playing them now than after they sack their manager, which is very likely to happen very soon. I mean, especially if we beat
them, they will, won't they? And they'll probably bring in Graham Potter. I reckon he might be waiting for that one. But it's one of those odd ones that, like, honestly, if you've seen them play, they are garbage. They're so bad. I think they had one good game where they sort of surprised someone, and they did get like a fairly decent against Newcastle. That was like a surprising one. But even in that game, they had like 2 shots on target and scored both of them. But the issue is, it's just their squad's ridiculous. Like Lucas Paquetá was supposed to go to Man City for like 80 million. You got Kudus. He might be suspended, to be fair, but he's like £50 million player. They bought a striker for 35 million. It's not even playing for them. It's like, the Premier League's really gone crazy comparative to what we've got when we can't make signings like that. So we'll see. Do you know what? Hopefully they do get him, because I don't think he's that good either, Eden Terzic, if he comes in, because we need a few more teams to be in the mix for relegation. So let's see. But they are there for the taking. But yeah, we're in such bad form. You can't really be that optimistic, can you?
You'd back us at home, I think, to sneak a win with new manager bounce, home crowd. People will be excited. I know we're all feeling a little bit deflated after Saturday, but tomorrow I'm still looking forward to going. I'm still looking to the reception that he's going to get, and to see what he's going to do, because we know that RUUD knows how to score goals, and he's been coached it well enough in his career to know how to execute that. So if he can communicate that to the players on the pitch, he's got Vardy there as well, which is probably your biggest ally on the field, really, because he's 100% Leicester. And just speak to Vardy about getting into space, keeping the ball, holding the ball up in attacking positions. Like, we need to make more of that with RUUD, don't we? Like, RUUD is excellent at holding up the ball, but he doesn't seem to get it in the right part of the pitch. So, yeah, he's got a battle on his hands tomorrow, but we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Kate, thanks for clicking in. Much appreciated. We'll see you very soon, hopefully, on the channel. Thank you so much for clicking in. Cheers to Kate. And the final caller of the night, end on a bit of chaos. Here he is. Hello,
Where there's chaos, there's opportunity. So,
where are you, mate?
Where am I? I'm on the way to my sister's with my mum and dad in car and all. So,
Lovely stuff, mate. What do you want to talk about, mate? Go on, give us something to end on.
Where do we begin? Story time. So, Saturday, Brentford. Well, obviously, me and my dad went. Obviously, people haven't watched my vlogs and that, but oh wow, I'm gonna go as far as say it's one of the top 5 worst performances I've ever seen at a football ground in regards to Leicester City. It's not number 1 because that belongs to Barnsley away in 2013, but I would put it, I'd say 4. Honestly, Locks, it was horrendous. Obviously, I know people watched it on the streams and that, whatever. Being in the ground itself, it was after that second goal. The atmosphere was as flat as that tire at Osden Clark against Ipswich. You know, it was really flat. The only free chance we had in the second half was this is embarrassing. RUUD came out. We are not very good. I'm only saying that because my mum's in the car, so if I swear, she'll have a go at me. So, you know.
Were they loud, Ross? Were the RUUD came out chants loud?
Oh yes, they were very loud. Some of Brentford fans obviously don't know who he is and stuff, so they were asking who was that and that. But it was very poor from. Do you know what? I think. Yeah. Do you know what? Obviously, I was there as well. That was pretty bad. But
he's a northern lad, Ross. He's a northern lad.
Ross, northern lad. No, basically, it was. I reported a crime on Radio 5 the other day about Faz being a footballer.
Did you actually call up and do that?
I actually rang up and actually said I reported a crime for being in football. I'll send you the clip after, Locks.
Please do.
Of me on Radio 5 Live. And obviously, Chris Sutton being Chris Sutton, trying to rattle me up, saying about, sacking Steve Cooper and all that early and stuff. Nobody outside the bubble, out of the Leicester bubble, doesn't understand why we sacked him. Obviously, we all know why we sacked him. Writing was on the wall from, I would say, Forest away. At home, sorry. That's my opinion on it. But obviously, RUUD ran this to Roy. I mean, I said if I were RUUD, I would run after watching that performance. I'd run a mile after watching that on Saturday. It was so poor.
Ross, I want you to end, because you are the last caller of the night, I want you to give, because we won't have another live stream now on the channel until Match Day Live tomorrow night. I want you to give us your score prediction for RUUD's debut against West Ham.
Right, well, season starts tomorrow night. So, yeah, it starts again. Thanks, Mum. So, I'm going to say, I think we'll hopefully bounce back. As long as Faz is not starting, we'll be all right. So, I'm going to say Leicester 3, West Ham United 0, and whatever you call him, yeah.
Oh, we've lost him. We've lost him. We've lost Ross right at the last second. Blimey. Oh,
3-0 win, though. That's quite the shout out.
Well, yeah, that's a good way to end it. 3-0 to Leicester. Let us know in the comments quickly, very quickly. Spam your score prediction now. A 0, mate. Again, like I just said to Ross, this is our last live stream before Match Day Live tomorrow, which will go live at 8 p.m. We will start the live stream tomorrow night because kickoff is at 8:15. And Neil, what is your score prediction for that one, mate?
I'm going to go 0-0 again, although I said that the last time round and that didn't really work out. But I think we might try and keep it tight.
I'd agree with you, mate. I'd agree with you. Do I agree with you? I mean, I take it. I would take a point on Ross's debut, bloody hell, on RUUD's debut. please, not Ross's debut. Jesus. On RUUD's debut, I would take a 0-0. But I'm gonna edge Leicester, mate. And I think this would be the perfect way to start RUUD's era. I'm going to say 1-0 win. A lovely, well, not so lovely, KG scrappy 1-0 win. And I think a clean sheet and 3 points, mate, would start us off perfectly. Let's quick fire through the score prediction. Zaid says 3-2 Leicester. LCFC_DP says 3-1. Henry says 2-1. Clibo says 1-1. Sean says we could honestly do a 3-1 or a 3-2. Paul says 3-2. Tom says 2-2. Dallas Foxes says 2-1. Sean says we don't keep clean sheets. We did against Bournemouth. Zaid says 0-0. And finally, Ross's dad says 2-1 Leicester. I'm sure Anil will agree with me. We thank every single one of the callers tonight. Very much appreciated. Thanks to every single one of the commenters. And Anil's caller of the day is
Alex. I'm going to go Alex. New caller, Alex. Think it was well thought out, his team. I was tempted not to give it to him for his suggestion of Luke Thomas at left back, but some other people defended him. So if he's listening, Alex, that's my personal caller of the day.
I'm giving caller of the day to Barry because he reached out. He literally
it was a good call.
Ash.
It was a good call for him to be.
It was a very good call, mate.
He let us know that Ash was in the band.
Yes, yeah, Barry, mate. Barry's got my number. Barry, send me Ash's band, and we'll see if we can get some copyright for him to be on the channel to play it one day. So, thanks, Anil. Thanks as always, mate. We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see you all tomorrow night from 8 p.m. for Matchday Live. It's going to be a long one. Hopefully, it is a good one though. Cheers, all. See you very soon. Bye bye.